months. Yeah. Now I start this session with Darwin's theory. The Darwin theory states that survival of the fittest. However, how strong you are, how intelligent you are, but you need to manage and you need to survive. Only thing is you need to be the fittest. Fittest only the survivor. You need to adapt to the changes to the environment. That is the Darwin theory. However, adapt the changes to the environment only. Sorry. Full screen. Acknowledgement. Yeah, the Darwin's theory. Yeah, Darwin's theory is survival of the fittest. How strong you are, how intelligent you are, but you need to adapt to the changes. The person who adapt to the changes only can survive. That is the fittest. Fittest only survive. Here the change I stated it as technological changes. We need to develop our technological knowledge and we need to update our knowledge. Only thing we can survive. That is the Darwin's theory. I start my session with the Darwin's theory. Yeah, next slide. Today we are going to see the calibration and testing of medical equipment. First thing we need to know about the calibration. What is the calibration? Calibration means comparing the known standard with the unknown measurement values. Say for example, weight calibration, height calibration, these everything comes under the calibration. Calibration is comparing the unknown standard with the known measurement. Why we are comparing the thing? The main thing we need to compare is accuracy and main thing we need to compare is the calibration. Why we are doing is the accuracy and performance of the machine should be enumerated by the calibration process. So this is the calibration. Yeah. Next slide we are going to see the pulse oximeter. Pulse oximeter is a non-invasive technique. Everyone knows with the help of pulse oximeter we can measure the pulse value and the oxygen saturation value. This is the pulse oximeter machine showing in the right side, and this blue color box is the simulator machine. With the help of the simulator we can calibrate the pulse oximeter. In this simulator we can set the saturation value, pulse value, and this finger like projection is seen in the blue color simulator box, and here we insert the pulse oximeter finger probe. As we insert our finger and we change the values, change the saturation value and pulse value, and the same value has to be observed in the pulse oximeter. If the same value is seen in the pulse oximeter, the set value and the observed value is the same, then the calibration of the pulse oximeter is okay. If the value is deviated, say example, you are setting the pulse oximeter saturation value as 97%, the machine is showing 96 or 98, then machine is okay. You have set the saturation value as 97 and you are observing it as 94, 93, you need to adjust the electronics inside the machine to get the correct value. This is the method of calibrating the pulse oximeter. This blue color box with finger like projection is the pulse oximeter simulator machine. In this machine we can set the pulse value and saturation value, and we need to insert the probe in the finger like projection in the machine. This is the sensor part. This sensor part will observe the signal, will give the signal to the pulse oximeter. The same value will be observed in the pulse oximeter. This is the method of calibrating the pulse oximeter. Yeah, next slide is the defibrillator. How the defibrillator works? Defibrillator work. It needs a power source. Power source is 230 volt AC supply, and the same power supply power is given to the variable transformer. The transformer will step down the given voltage value, and the transformed voltage is stored in the rectifier, and rectifier converts the signal AC voltage into DC voltage, and the voltage is stored in the capacitor, and it is connected to the switches in the paddles. When you press the switch, the capacitor stored energy will be discharged. Why we are using the defibrillator? Defibrillator is used to treat the ventricular arrhythmias. Whenever the patient is having a heart problem, that is a ventricular tachycardia, ventricular fibrillation, to solve the fibrillations, the doctor will use the defibrillator. Defibrillator machine is a life-saving equipment. How it works is, it need a power source. Power source is 230 volt power supply, and the 230 volt power supply is given to the transformer. This transformer will transform the given voltage, and the same AC voltage is moved to the rectifier. Rectifier will convert the AC voltage into DC voltage, and the voltage is stored in the capacitor, and the capacitor is linked to the switches on the paddle. When you press the switches, the stored energy is discharged on the patient through the paddle, so the patient can recover. It is an electrical shock equipment. The energy is converted into joules. How we calibrate the equipment? The first one is the defibrillator machine. In this defibrillator machine, there are three modes. First mode is a monitoring mode. In this monitoring mode, we can measure the ECG values, and therapy mode. Therapy modes, we can give the charge and discharge to recover the patient. And the automatic external defibrillator mode also available in the machine. Automatic external defibrillation mode in the thing will convert a disposable sticky paddles to the machine, that is a AED mode, and will synchronize the patient with the machine. Whenever the patient requires a shock, machine will instruct you to give the shock. At the time you need to press the shock button. Once you give the shock button, the stored energy is discharged to the patient. This is the AED mode. There are three modes in the defibrillator. How you calibrate the defibrillator? This calibration analyzer is given in the middle of the picture. There are three pictures in the machine. First picture is a defibrillator, second picture is a calibration equipment, third picture is the doctor is giving therapy to the patient. How you calibrate the defibrillator? First you take the paddles, the two paddles, apex and sternum paddles, and keep it on the second picture. There are some there is a metal portion available. In this metal portion you will keep the paddles. As we keep the paddles on the patient chest, same way you will keep the paddles on this machine, and you will give the charge discharge. Once you give the charge discharge, the calibrator analyzer machine will observe the charge and display the value. Say example, you are giving a 200 joules of energy. The shock is delivered on the metal part in the calibration analyzer, and the analyzer will give you the exact value, how much you charge delivered from the defibrillator. That is example, if you give a 200 joules of energy, the machine will give you a 198 or 202, then the machine is okay. And the same way you can analyze this ECG also with this analyzer. Say example, you can give a ECG, you can connect the ECG cable in this machine, and you can get the ECG value also. Say example, you can generate tachycardia, bradycardia, asystole, everything can be analyzed with this analyzer, and also energy can also be analyzed and calibrated with this analyzer. And with this analyzer you can measure the charge time, how much charge the machine, how much time the machine taking to charge and discharge. That charge and discharge time also can be calculated. ECG wave also calibrated, and this joules, how much of energy joules the machine delivered, that also calibrated. The calibrated value should be plus or minus 5. Plus or minus, generally it is 3, and up to 5 it is accepted. You are giving energy as 200 joules, the machine is showing 197 or 198, the machine is okay. If you are giving an energy as 200 joules, machine is showing 230 and 170, the machine is not okay. Then again you need to calibrate the machine. This is the way you can check and calibrate the defibrillator machine. Yeah, hope everyone understand this defibrillator machine. Next thing is the syringe pump. Next slide is syringe pump. Why you are using the syringe pump? Syringe pump and infusion pumps comes under the drug delivery system. Both the machines can be used for drug delivery to the patient. Say example, drug in the sense medicines. Okay, with the help of syringe pump you can deliver up to 50 ml of drug, and with the help of infusion pump you can deliver up to 500 ml of drug to the patient. 500 to 1000 ml nowadays. Syringe pump works in the principle of screw rod technology. It is nothing but a there is a stepper motor inside the machine, and a plunger clutch assembly. You need to place the syringe. The syringe clamp will hold the syringe, and the plunger unit will push the syringe. While pushing this process, the loaded drug will be expelled to the patient through the vein. Okay, it is a small volume pump. It is a computer controlled device, and the thing is that a screw rod technology that is given. That is a principle of the machine. How this machine is calculating the volume, how much of the drug you are delivered. Say example, if you are loaded a 50 ml of drug, how much drug delivered to the patient is shown by the rotation of the machine, rotation of the motor. The stepper motor is rotating. How much rotation the motor is rotating, with the rotation speed the volume is calculated. See, this is a picture. This is a picture of a typical syringe pump. The center part is a syringe clamp, and the corner is a syringe plunger. This plunger device will push the syringe. Plunger unit will push the syringe, and the volume of drug is expelled. The second picture is the analyzer. In this analyzer you can connect the syringe with the IV tube that is linked to the calibrating machine. What this machine will do is how much ml of volume is expelled in a particular time, that is calculated in the machine. And this machine's output is output tube is linked to a glass beaker. With this help of beaker and this timer you can measure manually, and the same way this machine will calculate automatically how much ml of volume drug delivered in a particular time. And same thing can be taken by a taken a printed copy also is available. There is a syringe pump calibration method. Okay, then this is a next slide is a infusion pump. Infusion pump works in the method of peristaltic concept, peristaltic principle. The peristaltic, in the name we hear, it is taken place in the esophagus. In the esophagus, how we swallow the food, in the method of peristaltic waveform. Peristaltic in the sense consecutive squeezing and releasing. This method is called as peristaltic. With the help of peristaltic principle, peristaltic motor, this infusion pump works. The speed of a stepper motor determines the cycling rate. How much ml of volume drug deliver is based on the speed. With the help of a motor speed is measured accordingly, and it is correlated with the volume. Volume is calculated based upon the stepper motor rotation. That is a computer controlled microprocessor device. With the help of motor speed, the machine measures the volume. This pump can be calibrated with the help of a calibrating analyzer. The first picture shows the infusion pump. Infusion pump door. There is a Akash is written. That is a infusion pump door, and side is a saline bottle connected to a clamp. That is a sensor part. This sensor measures the sensor is a IR sensor, so it measures how much drop of drug delivered can be measured with the help of this drop sensor. And second picture is a infusion pump analyzer. The tube which come out from the infusion pump is linked to this analyzer. The same fluid will flow and come out from the analyzer. How much ml of volume drug delivered is measured in this second picture analyzer. See example, you are connecting to the patient. The same tube is instead of connecting to the patient, you connect this tube to the analyzer, and you take the output tube and you put it in a glass beaker. The same thing can be calculated, how much ml of volume drug calculated with this analyzer. And the third picture is the principle of the machine. What are the parts inside the machine is shown in the third picture. The third picture is a cam analyzer. Stepper motor is there, gearbox assembly is there, and a gear rod is there, shaft is there, and camshaft and cam. The stepper motor rotates, the rod also rotates, and this cam assembly will move front and back. In the between the door and the pump, there is a cam assembly. When the cam assembly will crush and release the tube, there is a pinch of concept. There is a peristaltic concept. Once the cam assembly moves front and back, the tube is pinch and release. Consecutive pinching and release will make the fluid to flow out of the pump. So with the help of this analyzer, you can measure. Instead of connecting to the patient, you connect the output tube to the machine, and the same tube can be taken out from the analyzer, and you put it in a beaker. The beaker volume and the machine volume and the infusion pump volume, everyone should be same. Once it is same, the machine is calibrated. Say example, the pump is delivering 100 ml, the analyzer has to show 100 ml. The same 100 ml has to be output come from the analyzer and put it in a beaker. That beaker value 100 ml, analyzer 100 ml, and infusion pump 100 ml. Everything should be same. Once it is same, then machine is calibrated. If it is showing a wrong value, we need to adjust electronically inside the machine. This is the method of calibrating the infusion pump. Okay. Then multi-parameter. What is multi-parameter? At a time you can read multiple parameters. The name indicates it is a multiple parameter. You can able to see 5 parameters at a time. What are the vital signals? Vital signals in the sense temperature, blood pressure, respiration rate, ECG, saturation. These 5 parameters are seen at a time in a monitor. There is a electronic medical device, computer controlled device. This works based on the sensors. Okay. What are the sensor this machine have? SpO2 sensor. SpO2 sensor works on the concept of IR concept, IR light technology. This work. NIBP, it is a pressure pump, non-invasive blood pressure measurement. This one work. Temperature is based on the temperature sensor. It is a thermistor probe. ECG, everyone knows, that is a electrode cable, that concept. Okay. Yeah, next picture. These are the accessories controlled to the machine. First one is a saturation probe, NIBP cuff, and NIBP cuff and ECG cables. Okay. How you calibrate this machine? See, first picture in the monitor calibration, the first picture the person holding in a hand is a saturation calibration machine, SpO2 calibration analyzer, and the next picture is a ECG calibration analyzer. Then the picture behind yellow color is a NIBP calibration machine. How you calibrate this monitor? You can connect the SpO2 probe in the finger-like projection in the person holding in the hand is a saturation analyzer. Instead of connecting this saturation probe to a patient, you connect the same probe to this analyzer, and in this analyzer you can set the saturation value and pulse value. The same value has to be read in the monitor. The same value as read in the monitor, then it is okay. If the machine is showing a deviated value, then again you need to calibrate. The set value and observed value should be same. Say example, if you set 97% of saturation and pulse rate is 72, the same value has to be shown in the machine. With this second picture is ECG arrhythmia simulator. In this arrhythmia simulator, you connect all the ECG leads to this monitor. Monitor leads, you connect all these things to the simulator, and with the simulator you can generate bradycardia, tachycardia, asystole value. Okay, the whatever value you set in the simulator, the same thing has to be observed in the monitor. If the same value is observed in the monitor, then okay. If you generate a tachycardia signal, the machine has to show tachycardia, and if you generate a bradycardia, the machine has to show bradycardia value. If the value correlate, the machine is okay. If not, you need to electronically test the machine. Okay, this is the method of calibration and testing of the monitor. Okay, how you calibrate NIBP? The NIBP is non-invasive measurement of blood pressure value. Instead of connecting the cuff to the patient, you connect the cuff to something like a patient hand, and you connect this output tube to this analyzer, and the same value has to be observed in the monitor. Say example, NIBP, if you set hyper 120/80 pressure, you set in this analyzer, the same thing has to be observed in the monitor. With this analyzer, you can test hypertension adult, hypotensive adult. The value, whatever the value you set in the analyzer, same value has to be observed in the monitor. Okay, this is the principle you can calibrate the monitor. Okay. ECG machine. Heart is having two activities. One is the electrical activity, another one is mechanical activity. Mechanical activity is pumping of blood to all parts of the body. In this, left ventricle plays a major role. Left ventricle pumps in a upthrust force. It pumps blood to all parts of the body. And electrical activity comes from the SA node. SA node, AV node, bundle of is Purkinje fibers. This is the concept. SA node is a natural pacemaker of the heart. From the SA node, ECG electrical signals are generated. With these electrical signals, heart works. So electrical activity can be measured with the ECG. ECG can be measured with a tiny electrodes. From this electrode will pick the signal, and it is transferred to a cable, that is a ECG cable, and from the ECG cable it is connected to a module. In this module you have a preamplifier, amplifier, everything is inside the machine. Okay, next picture. This is a typical ECG machine. First picture shows all the accessories. That red color, yellow, black and green colors are the limb leads. These are connected to the RA, LA, LL, RL. Okay, these limb leads. And the blue color are the bulbs. These are the chest electrode. V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6. Okay, these are the chest electrode. Chest electrodes are connected. Chest electrode are connected. The second picture shows that ECG connected to a patient. Okay, it is like placing camera at different angles. What is ECG? ECG is you are measuring the electrical activity of the heart. Okay, it is like one person is standing in the center. You are focusing with the different cameras. Okay, different angles. The different angles you get a different view. That is a different view you are getting. That is the ECG. The different views are V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6. These are like a cameras. Cameras you place behind the heart, before front of the heart. Like we are focusing the see. Imagine if you are taking a picture of a person at different angles. Same way you are taking a electrical activity of a heart at different angles. That is a V1. It's one type of lead. V2, V3, V4, V5, V6. Then okay. See this red, yellow, black and green color are the limb electrodes. You are connected to the extremities, lower and upper extremities. You connect these clip electrodes, and these blue colors are the bulb electrodes. Change it. Okay, we will teams. Teams. Okay, understand. So, and this machine is connected with a thermal printer. As soon as you put automatic, there is an automatic button is there in the machine. Once you once you press automatic, that ECG wave is printed in the paper. This clear view can be taken in a printed copy format. Okay, these are the accessories. Accessories are electrodes, cable, and this is a machine which is connected to a thermal printer. This is measuring the electrical activity. How you calibrate this machine? Okay, that is the next question. This slide is a ECG calibration slide. The picture is showing the person is holding a machine is called as a ECG simulator. The ECG simulator. Just a minute. This leads are connected to the simulator machine. In this simulator, you can generate tachycardia, bradycardia, asystole. Everything can be taken with the help of a simulator. You generate a signal and you take a printer copy. The set value and observed value are same. The machine is working precisely normal. If the set value and observed value are abnormal, say example you generate a tachycardia, the machine is showing brady or asystole, then there is something problem with the accessory. There may be a problem with the cable or maybe problem with the machine. If the set value and observed value are same, then the machine is calibrated and accuracy is okay. Okay, this is the way you can calibrate the machine. You connect all the leads like connecting to the patient. You connect all the leads to the simulator machine. With the help of simulator, you can generate. You set a value. Say example, you set a heart rate as 72. The same 72 has to be shown in the graph, printed graph, and same ECG leads has to be come in the paper. The set value and observed value are same. The machine calibration is okay. Or else you need to check the accessories or you need to check the machine. Okay. Next we are entering to a topic operation theater. The operation theater main thing is OT light. How the OT light work? OT light working with the four parts are very important. The one thing is a 230 volt power supply. That is a normal EB power supply. That power supply is given to a transformer. The transformer will step down the voltage. Step down in the sense you give a 230 volt. The step down transformer will give you a 24 volt AC. That same 24 volt AC is given to a rectifier. This rectifier will convert the voltage to AC voltage to DC voltage. That same rectified DC voltage is given to a LED lights. That LED lights will glow. Okay. The one thing LED. Yeah. The LED light will.
எல்லாத்தையும் மீட் பண்ணிட்டேன். சோ
இங்க பண்ணலாமா?
இதுல டீம் அதுல வரும்.
Okay. Yeah, this 230 volt supply is given to a transformer. This transformer will step down the voltage. The step down AC voltage is again given to a rectifier. This rectifier will convert the AC voltage into a DC voltage, and the same DC voltage, example 12 volt or 24 volt, is given to a LED lights. Then the LED lights will glow. The unit of intensity is lux. Okay. The proper working environment, you need 1 lakh lux. Okay. 1 lakh lux is a essential light. சரி இது பாருங்க சார் ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
இல்ல சார் மொபைல் ஒரு கால் நம்ம எடுத்து ஓகே. This one. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, voice audible. Yeah, the 230 volt supply is given to a transformer. The transformer will step down. The step down voltage is given to a rectifier. This rectifier will convert the AC voltage into a DC voltage. Then it is given DC voltage is given to a LED board, LED PCB. That PCB is fixed with a LED. Then LED light will glow. For the smooth workflow for the surgeon, the LED light intensity we need is a 1 lakh lux. 1 lakh lux is required for the surgeon to perform a smooth surgery. These LED lights are connected in the form of a dooms. This dooms is connected to a flexible arms. Why it is flexible arms and dooms required? Whenever the light is needed to focus in a particular area, it should be flexible so that the surgeon can easily move. And there is a adjustable focusing is also available. You can converge and diverge the light. Okay. See, this is a typical light fixed in the ceiling light. That ceiling, there is a ceiling column is there, and from the column it is connected to your arm. From the arm, the light is connected to a flexible arms, and the end is the doom. And the one projection is coming out is you can converge and diverge with this help of a handle, and the light can be moved from one side to another side. So flexible in the sense the surgeon can pull and push the light back, and the surgeon can move it from left to right. There are possible movement is left and right and up and down. The surgeon can move, and the same light is connected with a camera also. Camera is fixed in the light, and it is connected to a monitor or it is connected to a computer system. So the surgery can be stored and the surgery can be broadcasted in the purpose of conferences. There is some camera control light is also available nowadays, and the intensity of the light can be adjusted with the help of a keypad connected on the dome. Okay, how you calibrate the light? There is a calibration analyzer is given. It looks like a multimeter. There is a flexible cable is coming out. It is connected to a sensor. You need to keep 1 meter distance from the dome. The whatever the intensity is showing has to be, say example, the light intensity is 1 lakh lux. The machine has to show almost nearer 98,000 or 1 lakh. If it is okay, then the light intensity is okay. Or else you need to check the electrical voltage, or you need to check the LED. Okay, LED may some after few years or few months, the LED intensity may go off, or some of the some LEDs may not glow. There is a problem with the LED. That time the light intensity may go down. So you need to check the LED. All the lights are glowing. If all the lights are glowing, the intensity should be 1 lakh lux. If not, you need to check the dome. Is there any electrical fault, or all the LED lights are glowing? That way you can check. This is sensor. This sensor has to be placed 1 meter distance below the dome. The set value and observed value has to be same. Here there is no set value. This machine will show the exact value. Say example, if the light intensity is 1 lakh lux, the analyzer has to show almost nearer to 1 lakh lux. If it is not showing, then you need to check the light. Okay. Then next thing is a X-ray. Everyone knows the Coolidge principle. Fast moving electron suddenly strike a metal target, X-rays are emitted. That the Coolidge principle only stated the X-ray principle. The electron flow from cathode to anode. Okay, and it is strike a metal target, X-rays are emitted. How we get a picture, X-ray image I am showing. Here there is a X-ray generated above, and the patient is placed on a patient table, that is X-ray table. X-rays are emitted, and below the patient we have placed a X-ray cassette. That is a conventional radiography, we will place a X-ray cassette, and if it is a digital radiography, there is a flat panel digital crystal is placed. Okay, as soon as the X-ray is emitted, this X-ray will pass through the patient body, and the same X-ray is come out from the patient body, that is picked with the help of a detector, and detector will show you the image. X-rays are used mainly to take a harder substances. Say example, CT, X-ray, everything you used to take the image of a harder substances. Harder substances in the body is bones, skull bones, rib bones, all the bones, that harder substances, tooth, dental X-rays. All the things you can take with the X-ray image. In case of soft tissues, you can go for MRI or this ultrasonic machines. Okay, first picture is a principle of X-ray machine. Second picture is X-ray dosimeter, and this third picture is a different types of dosimeter sensors. Okay, what this dosimeter will do, for the smooth X-ray you need to have a kV and MAS. The same kV and MAS has to be measured with the help of a dosimeter. Instead of patient, you place a dosimeter sensor and you take a numerous X-rays, and if you take a X-ray, that same value has to be shown in the dosimeter. Say example, if it is set a kV as 50 kV and MAS 10 MAS, the same value has to be shown in the dosimeter. If not, you need to calibrate the X-ray machine. Okay, if calibration is okay, then the dosimeters will show almost the nearest value. For X-ray, you need to set two parameters. One is 1 is kV and another is MAS. You set 50 kV in the keypad and 10 MAS in the keypad of the X-ray machine, and you shoot a X-ray. That same thing has to be shown in the dosimeter. The dosimeter will observe the X-ray radiation, and it is converted in a digital format, and it can be shown in a digital dosimeter. The set value in the X-ray machine and the observed value in the dosimeter has to be same. If it is same, then X-ray machine calibration is okay. If not, you need to calibrate the X-ray again. You need to electronically test the X-ray machine. This is the process of dosimeter calibrating the X-ray. Where and all you will calibrate the X-ray? In the door side, everything you can. You place the dosimeter near to the machine, and you can place dosimeter outside the X-ray room. If there is any scatter radiation, that can also be calibrated with the help of a dosimeter. Okay. Yeah, CT refers to a computerized tomography system. In the CT machine, you can get a cross-sectional view of a human parts. It's like you are taking a CT of abdomen. You can get abdomen CT, and if you take a skull, in case of any hemorrhages or bleeding in the brain, that can be taken with the X-ray. These are the parts given. The first thing is a X-ray detector, and next one is a X-ray source. While rotating, it will take a cross-sectional view of the human body. Okay, this also works in the principle of a X-ray only. Okay. This is a dosimeter shown in the slide, which will the same value, set value and observed value has to be same in the dosimeter. Okay, same like X-ray calibration, you can calibrate the CT. And this is a phantom machine. First picture is a phantom, that is picture is that is fixed in a CT machine instead of a patient, and you can take a image of a phantom. If the phantom image quality is okay, then the X-ray machine, then the CT machine is okay. If phantom image is not clear or any artifacts in the image, you need to calibrate the CT scan. Okay, this is a typical dosimeter to calibrate the CT scan. Instead of patient, you put a dosimeter on the table and you take X-rays, and you need to get a value. That value should be same as set value. Set value in the CT machine and the observed value in the dosimeter should be same. If not, you need to check the CT scan. Okay. Then ultrasound scan works in the principle of piezoelectric effect. Okay, that is a transducer probe. Transducer converts one form of energy into another form. Okay, that ultrasound waves are transferred from the transducer, and the transferred ultrasonic wave will enter into the human body, and it will propagate the tissues, and the same ultrasound wave is returned back, and the return back ultrasound waves are observed in the transducer, and it is transferred in a digital format. Okay, this is the principle of ultrasonic machine. Okay, the transducer will produce ultrasonic waves. Okay, that ultrasonic wave will enter into the human body, and it will hit the tissues and again come back. That comeback ultrasound energy is absorbed in the form of echoes, and it is transferred to a machine. Okay, this is a typical ultrasonic machine block diagram. There is a storage device, CPU, printer, and it is a transducer probe. The transducer, with the help of transducer probe, you can get the image. Okay, the tip of the transducer, there is a piezoelectric crystals. This piezoelectric crystals vibrates and produces a sound. That sound energy is travel into the human body, and again it is come back as a echo. That echoes are again taken back, absorbed by the transducer, and it is converted. Okay, and the main principle is higher the frequency, lower the penetration. Okay, that is the concept. High frequency probes, then you get a lower penetration. Okay, then the typical machine have a display, that is a computer control device. CPU, cursor is there, storage option is available. You can get a printer also, printing copy of the image also you can get. Okay, with the help of a printer. Okay, in this there are modes. Typical modes are there. Scan modes are there. You can depend upon the scan, you can change the modes. Okay, yeah, the second picture is anomaly scan. If there is any fetal abnormalities there in the pregnancy period, you can take it with the help of a anomaly scan. Okay, this is the picture shown. Next picture is a surgical diathermy. That surgical diathermy works with two options. One is a monopolar and is a bipolar. Monopolar, there is a single electrode is available. So with the help of a single electrode and reference earthing plate, there is a return voltage is there. With the help of earthing plate, there is a return voltage. And this monopolar, the doctor will use a single pencil electrode, that is a monopolar. And bipolar, there is a two electrode. The heat energy, electrical current will travel from electrical current will travel from one electrode to one electrode, and the same thing is returned through another electrode to the machine. Okay, and here in monopolar there is a earthing plate. The set energy is returned to the earthing plate. Okay, these machines are with machines operate with a foot control, and hand control is also available. Okay. Yeah, how you calibrate a diathermy machine? Diathermy machine works with the electrically induced heat. That heat energy, and with the help of electromagnetic current, you can cut and coagulate the tissues. That concept, this machine will work. You can produce a heat energy in the form of electrically inducing method. Okay. It can be operated with monopolar and bipolar modes, and it can be operated with foot control and hand control. What are the things you can calibrate with this machine? You can calibrate with the help of electrical safety analyzer. With the help of analyzer, you can calculate any leakage current available. Leakage currents, enclosure leakage, insulation, everything can be calculated with this electrical safety analyzer. Only safety test can be done with the, only safety test is available for the surgical diathermy. Okay, electrical safety can be done. That is a earthing leakage is there, enclosure leakage, insulation leakage, everything can be calibrated with the help of a electrical safety test. Okay, Next thing is a infant warmer and phototherapy. Why we are using infant warmer? As soon as the pregnancy is, as soon as the delivery is over, the baby come out from the mother uterus. Once it come out from the mother uterus, it need to adapt to the external environment. Say example temperature. So in order to make the baby to adapt to the environmental temperature, you can give a supporting equipment called as infant warmer. This infant warmer will produce a radiant heat. This radiant heat makes the baby to maintain its body temperature and to adapt to the external environment. So for the baby to make smooth and adapt to the external environment, we are providing external heat radiant equipment that is called as infant warmer. And why you are using phototherapy? As soon as delivery is over, the baby come out from the uterus, there may be a possibility of bilirubin. There may be a possibility of bilirubin non-breakdown. Once the bilirubin is not breakdown in a proper way, then the baby will suffer from a neonatal jaundice. Okay, to make the bilirubin to breakdown from the blood and come out through the baby urine, we can use a phototherapy instrument. This phototherapy equipment use a 390 to 470 nanometer of UV light, and this UV light enters to the baby and it will break down the bilirubin in the blood and come out from make it to come out of the body. Okay, see, these are the equipments. What are the parts available? The radiant box contain a radiant box is with a radiant coil, heater coil is there, and second is a temperature controller. Then there is a infant bed and it is wheel. You can mobilize the machine. Then there is a glass support to prevent the baby to fall down, and there is a tray, IV pole. These are the parts of the machine. This is servo controlled machine. There is a temperature probe attached to the machine. This temperature probe is placed on the baby, and this temperature probe will give the feedback that set temperature is 38 degree, the baby's body temperature is 37 or 38. This skin temperature probe will give the feedback to a temperature controller, and according to the feedback this radiant coil will work. Okay, once that set temperature and the observed temperature is okay, the radiant coil heater stops. Okay, once the set value is 38 degree, the baby's temperature is 36 degree, the feedback from the temperature probe goes to the controller, and the controller will start the heater coil. Okay, the heater coil will work, and heater coil will get heat, and it will produce the radiant heat and makes the baby to feel better. Okay, and the second equipment is a phototherapy device. This phototherapy device will give you the light in 390 to 450 nanometers. With the help of this light, the bilirubin will break down. Okay, the second picture is a biomedical engineer who is calibrating the machine. There is a temperature probe that is connected to a temperature analyzer. This temperature probe is placed in the warmer instead of a baby. This temperature probe observe the heater energy. Heat energy is transferred to a digital format. It is nothing but a digital thermometer. If you are placing this machine instead of a baby, and you get a value. Okay, you set example 40 degrees Celsius in the warmer, the machine has to show almost 39 or 40 degree, this analyzer. Okay, if not, you need to calibrate the machine. Instead of a baby and temperature probe, skin temperature probe, you keep this machine. Okay, this analyzer is nothing but a digital thermometer or digital temperature calibrating analyzer. Okay, yeah, next is a heart lung machine. Heart lung machine, the name indicates this machine will do the function of both heart and lungs. How this machine work? There is a superior and inferior vena cava. These are the veins will carry the deoxygenated blood. These are taken in the form of taken through the tube, and it is connected to a reservoir. The reservoir is nothing but a collector. From this reservoir it is sent to the oxygenator. The oxygenator nothing but a lung. This oxygenator will oxygenate the blood, and it is connected to a pump. This nothing but a heart lung machine pump. This is a peristaltic pump. This peristaltic pump again push the oxygenated blood into the aorta. This aorta is the largest artery in the heart. From the aorta it transfer blood to all parts of the body. Okay, this is a typical diagram of a heart lung machine. Okay, see, this is that machine. Okay, the same thing during the bypass surgery, the blood from the deoxygenated blood from the heart is taken to a pump. This pump will taken to a reservoir, and reservoir will collect all the bloods, and from the reservoir it goes to the oxygenator. This oxygenator nothing but a filter. This oxygenator is connected with the air, connected to a blender. This blender will mix the air and oxygen in a correct ratio. From the oxygenator, the blood get oxygenated. From the oxygenator, the blood goes to a peristaltic pump. From the pump, peristaltic roller pump, once the pump rotates, the blood is pushed into the heart, that is aorta. From the aorta, it goes to the all parts of the body. See that picture shows the first thing is oxygen poor blood leaves the heart, enter to the heart lung machine. Second picture is heart lung machine pumps and add oxygen to the blood before it returns to the body. And third picture is the blood entering, that is oxygenated blood entering to the oxygen rich blood enters to the body, skipping the heart and lungs. Yeah, this heart and lungs function is done by this heart lung machine. Okay, instead of going to heart and lungs, it skip the tube is connected to the aorta. Okay, see that is a bypass surgery. Without this machine you cannot done a bypass surgery. Okay, open heart surgeries. This is a heart lung machine. Okay, yeah, next we are going to testing of medical equipments. Okay, here we have seen calibrating of medical equipment, and now we are going for testing of medical equipment. Why we need to test the medical equipment? Okay, medical equipment, first thing is a patient safety. If these are the life support machines. Okay, every life support machine has to be tested before it is connected to the patient in order to avoid the electrical hazards. Okay, for that we are testing the machine. First thing we are going for the pulse oximeter. How you test the machine? This is a pulse oximeter, and here is a probe, and here is the extension cable. Once you connect this pulse oximeter to your finger, if there is no value, first thing you need to change the cable, extension cable. You change the extension cable from another machine and you connect the same probe to the machine. The value is okay, then extension cable problem. And after changing the extension cable, the problem is that then you change the probe. Check with a new probe. If the probe is okay, then no issues. If probe is also problem, then you need to change extension cable as well as probe. Okay, this is a cross checking of the accessories. Most of the problem comes with the accessories. Okay, you just connect the same extension cable and probe to another machine. If the machine work, then there is a problem with the pulse oximeter. If machine is not working, then there may be a problem with the extension cable or the probe. The first picture is a Nelcar pulse oximeter, and then second picture is a probe, third picture is a extension cable. Okay, there is three possibilities. The problem may be if you are not getting a saturation and pulse value, there may be three possibility. One possibility is probe. The first possibility, probe may be the problem. Second possibility, extension cable. If you change the probe, then the machine is working. Then then the problem is the probe. After changing the probe, the machine is not working. You change the extension cable. After changing extension cable, the machine is working. Then problem with the extension cable. Okay, to cross check accordingly. Okay. Then multipara monitor. The first picture is a multipara monitor is showing the value. The second picture is a module. Okay, there is a module, electronic module rack. In this you connect all the accessories. The third picture is monitor with all the accessories. The first thing is NIBP cuff and hose. Second is a ECG cable. Third is a SpO2 probe. Okay. If the monitor is not showing the SpO2 value, then you need to change the probe and check. If after changing the probe the monitor is working, then there is a problem with the after changing the probe the monitor is working, then there is a problem with the saturation probe. Then you need the probe. After changing with the new probe the monitor is not working, you need to check the monitor. Okay, how you check NIBP? NIBP, the three possibilities are there. NIBP, the problem may come with a NIBP cuff, NIBP hose, and NIBP module. Okay, these are the possibilities. The first thing, you are not getting a systolic and diastolic value, then you need to change the cuff. It is connected to the patient's shoulder area. After changing the cuff you get the value, then the problem may be with the cuff. If not, you need to check the hose. Any damages are there in the hose. After changing cuff and hose you are not getting the value, then there is a problem with the module. Inside the module there is a NIBP pressure pump is there. There may be a possibility of pressure pump not working. Okay, you need to open the module and check. These are the possibilities you need to check. Then ECG is not coming. First thing, you need to check the patient chest electrode. If chest electrode adhesion is okay, then no issues. If not, you need to change the chest electrode. After changing chest electrode you are not getting the ECG value, then there is a possibility of ECG cable. First thing, you change with the new ECG cable. After changing with the new ECG cable, the machine is working. Then the problem is with the cable. After changing the new cable, the machine is not working and not showing any ECG value. Then you need to open the module, open the monitor, and you need to check the ECG electronic board. Okay, these are the possibilities. First the problem will come with the accessories. Okay, Then if you have a issue, the monitor is showing tachy or brady, doctor will call you and say the monitor is not showing correct value. Then one option you have is you take all the cable, ECG cable, and connect it with a simulator. With the help of a simulator, you set a heart rate at 72. The monitor has to show same 72 value. If it is showing correct, then there is a problem with the patient. Okay, this way you can check machine is working or not. Okay, then this is a ECG machine. How you test the ECG machine? Say example, if the doctor will call you and the machine is not showing correct ECG value, there is a artifact in the machine. Then that time you need to take a simulator and you connect all the cable to the simulator and you set a value and you take a printed copy. If it is okay, if the machine is okay, then there is no issue with the machine. Okay, if not, you need to change the accessories. Most of the problem will come with this electrode. The electrodes are a metal part. The one thing is the nurses will use a gel for proper smooth workflow and impedance matching. After taking ECG, the gel need to be wiped up. If not, if they are not wiping the ECG gel, the electrode part will get corroded. That corrosion do not pick the signal and do not transfer the signal to the ECG machine. First thing you need to check, the patient ECG value is not coming in the machine. The one thing you need to check is electrode. There is a red, yellow, and yellow, black, and green color electrodes. First you check the electrode metal part. If there is any corrode is there or proper contact is there. If there is no proper contact, then first thing you need to change the electrodes. You change the electrode and check if ECG is derived after changing the electrode, then there is a problem with this electrode. If not, you check the cable. You just check the cable continuity with the help of a multimeter. If the cable is not okay, then you first change the cable. After changing cable, electrode, and bulbs, the machine is showing the value, then machine is okay. After changing all, you are not getting a value, then you need to open the machine and check. Okay, first thing, you get a call from the hospital, the ECG machine is not working. First you need to check is electrodes, how the electrode contacts, everything you need to check. After that you need to check the cable. Then if everything is okay, then you can open the machine and see. If not, first you need to change the electrodes. Okay, the most of the time problem will come with the electrodes and accessories. Yeah, this is a operation data table. This is a typical operation table controlled with a remote. Okay, first picture is operation data table with a remote, and the picture below is the movement. What are the movement you are getting with this table? Depend upon the surgery, the doctor will move the table. Okay, with the help of a remote. And the second picture is attachments, that shoulder attachment, that knee attachment. These are the different attachments shown in the picture. And the first thing you get a call, the table is not working. The thing is you need to check a power supply, that normal power is going to the machine. If the power is going, there is a two keypads, the table is not moving up down, not moving, leg rest is not moving, headrest is not moving. This calls you get. Then first thing you need to check with the help of a keypad, the table is working with the keypad, then there is a problem with the remote. If not, you need to check the first thing, the table is not working, you just check a remote. There is a two same model table, then you remove that remote from that table and you connect this remote to this table and you activate. If movement is there, then there is a problem with the remote. If there is no movement, then there is a problem with the table. Okay, this way you can check it up. Yeah, this is a OT light, typical OT light as shown in the picture, and these are the various attachment, ceiling attachment. First picture is a typical operation theater with the doom light. Second picture is shown with the light focusing, how it is focusing to the area. Third picture as shown with the arms, different arms attached to the light. Okay, yeah. Next week comes under the laparoscopic study. In earlier days, the doctor doing a surgery, they need to open the area and surgery. While opening, there is more blood loss. In order to avoid the blood loss and smooth workflow, the thing better is a laparoscopic surgery. In this laparoscopic surgery, doctor will put a 3 holes in the area, mainly for the surgery area. Say example, if you're a hernia or appendix surgery, the doctor will open the abdominal area with the help of with the help of instrument. The doctor will put a 3 holes. The first hole is for entering the instrument, second hole is for laparoscopy, and third hole is for filling the gas. Okay, why we need a gas? The gas filling is mainly required for elaborating the area. The First picture is a laparoscopy. That below the picture are the instrument handling in the laparoscopy. Okay, there is a insufflator machine is there. Insufflator in the sense endoflator. With the help of endoflator, it is connected with a carbon dioxide cylinder. With the help of endoflator, the doctor will push a carbon dioxide gas to the working area, and the working area get elaborated. With the help of elaboration, doctor will do the surgery. And second role is for the light. Where the light comes? The light comes from a fiber optic light source. The light source machine is nothing but a machine with a light. We can adjust the intensity. Okay, and that light source is connected with a fiber optic cable. The fiber optic cable will transfer the light intensity as we set. Okay, the same energy is transferred to the same light intensity what we have set is transferred to the fiber optic cable. Why we use fiber optic cable in the sense the light intensity loss is less. Okay, for that purpose and faster communication we use fiber optic cable. That fiber optic light cable is connected to the scope, and there is a camera is there, and this camera processor is also there, and the camera processor is connected to a laparoscopic instrument. Okay, that is nothing but a rigid tube, rigid endoscope. There are two types of endoscopies there: flexible endoscopy and rigid endoscopy. For laparoscopy system, they use the rigid tubes, rigid what we call as rigid scopes. The scopes we have shown in the picture, that is laparoscopy, gynecology scope, arthroscope, urology scope, ENT scope. There are different types of scope. And the rigid scope, there is two end. One end they will connect the camera, other end they will connect the light source cable, and light source cable is connected to a light source machine. From the light source, the light energy is transferred to the fiber optic cable, and it is transferred to the scope. The same intensity is transferred to the scope. With the help of a light, the doctor will perform the surgery, and the camera is controlled to connected to the rigid scope other end. This camera will transfer the image to the TV or a computer system. With the help of TV, the doctor will perform the surgery. Nowadays 3D scope is also available. You can get a 3D virtual image of a 3D image of your organ in the TV. The doctor will with the help of a 3D glass and 3D scope, doctor will do the three-dimensional laparoscopy cases also can be done with the help of a 3D scope. Where the problem arises, the image is not coming in the TV. The first thing you need to check the cable which is connected to your processor and the TV. Then the image is blurred. First thing you need to check the camera lens. Light intensity is poor. First thing you need to check the fiber optic cable. Okay, these are the possibility problems you can place day to day in the OT. Okay, this is a laparoscopy system, and this is a flexible endoscope. Sorry. And this is a flexible endoscope. This is used in the normal endoscopic study. Depend upon the area, the scope name may vary. In case of the colon, we call it as a colonoscope. In case of bronchial area, we call it as a bronchoscope. In case of thorax, we call it as a thoraxscope. What is endo? Endo is inside. Scope is viewing. Okay, all the medical terminologies are come from the Greek. What are the parts in the scope? The first thing is the scope control body. With the help of a control, you can make the scope angulation. Angulation can be adjusted. That is up and down, left and right angulation. Tip of the scope is connected to the angulation knob. With the help of a angulation knob, you can adjust the scope movement. Okay. Then there is a suction channel is in the scope. So with the help of suction channel, you can suck all the fluid through the suction port. Okay. Then there is an instrument port. Say example, if the doctor is performing endoscopy, if he is feeling any abnormalities, then with the help of an instrument port, he will insert a biopsy forceps, and it will take a tissue and it send for a biopsy. Okay, and there is a digital tip is connected with a camera. With the help of camera, the image is transferred to the TV. Okay, and this is a terminal. In the terminal only they will connect the camera. The typical picture is shown in the third picture. Okay, the problems may place is suction channel may leak and biopsy channel may leak. The patient may bite the endoscope. While the patient bites, there is a leakage in the scope. With the leakage, all the fluids will enter to the electronic side also. These are the problems we face. Okay, the scope, there is a different channel. Suction is a different channel, instrument channel is a different channel. These are partition. These are the partitions inside the scope. If in case of any partition is damaged, the suction fluid may enter to the instrument channel port. Okay, these are different layers inside the scope. So we need to check the leak test first. Okay, only thing is we can leak test the scope as we are doing for our two-wheeler tires. The same way we can check the leakage in the scope. If we can, in case of any channel has damaged, the fluid or air will get enter into the another channel. So this where the leakage is coming, that can be checked up with a leakage tester in the scope. Okay, we can test the leakage tester. The problems we face is a scope leakage. Okay. And this is sternal saw. Sternal saw in the sense it is used to cut the sternal area for performing a open heart surgery. There is a foot pedal controlled device, and that is a motor. That motor is connected with the cable, and this cable is connected to a saw head. The saw head makes the blade to vibrate front and back. With the help of these vibrations, that is a spindle motor. The spindle will rotate the cable. This cable will rotate the saw lock, and this saw lock will make the blade to move from front and back. With the help of this front and back movement, the doctor will cut the sternal area for performing the surgery. The problem may occur with the cable. After a few days, a few months or few years, this cable may go for wear and tear, and the same force delivered from the motor is not able to transfer to the saw, and you can't able to cut the sternal area. Okay, the problem arises from the motor. Motor may not work, or foot pedal may not work, or cable may not work, or there may be problem with the saw. We have to check it separately. Okay, from the foot pedal, the voltage is transferred to the motor. Once the voltage is given to the motor, this motor will start rotating, and this in the motor you insert a spindle cable, and this spindle will also start rotating with this motor, and this spindle is connected to a saw, and once it is connected to the saw, that saw bearings will rotate and make the blade to move front and back. Once the blade is not moving front and back, there may be a possibility of problem with the saw, or there may be a possibility of problem with the cable, or problem with the motor. We have to check it separately. Okay, first thing, the saw is not working. First thing, you change the cable. After changing cable, it is working, then problem with the cable. After changing cable, it is not working, then you need to change the saw head. After changing saw head, it is working, then the problem is with the saw head. Okay, this is the sternal saw. And how you test the infant warmer? The infant warmer, as I said, there is a heater coil which will transfer the heat to the baby. The first possibility, heater coil is not working, then you take a multimeter and put it in a resistant mode, and you check the resistance of the coil. If resistance of the coil is not okay, then the problem is with the coil. Okay, that is the checking. One possibility, coil. And temperature probe. This temperature probe will transfer the heat. That is it will give the feedback to the controller. With the help of the feedback given from the temperature probe, the heater coil and controller will work. Okay, if the machine is showing probe fail, you first change the probe. After changing the probe, it is working, then there is problem with the probe. How you check this probe? You take a multimeter and put a resistance value, and you check the resistance of the temperature probe. If resistance is okay, resistance is not okay, then you need to check the cable. Okay, this way you can service. The most of the problem will come with the heater coil or the temperature probe. Okay, the only thing you can check the resistance value. If resistance value is okay, then the coil is okay. Something supply is not going, these are the problem you will face. If resistance value is not okay, then the coil is problem. Yeah, how you test the infusion pump? What are the parts inside the infusion pump? As I said, this infusion pump work with a peristaltic motor. So the picture is showing peristaltic pump, and the above is a occlusion detection. See, first picture is a infusion pump, and this diagram is the parts of the infusion pump. There are two sensors. One is the occlusion sensor. In case of any fluid blockages, this occlusion sensor will give you a occlusion message. And the below is a air sensor. This air sensor will detect the air. In case of any air going to the fluid path, then this machine will give you a air alarm. If the machine is giving an air alarm, then you need to check the air sensor. If air sensor is okay, air sensor is okay, then there is no problem. The air may be going in the fluid. First thing, you need to check the occlusion sensor. air sensor. These are the sensor. The machine is giving the occlusion alarm. The fluid is okay, but even though fluid is traveling smoothly, the machine is giving occlusion alarm. Then problem may be with the occlusion sensor. If there is no air in the fluid path, the machine is giving you air alarm. Then there may be a problem with the air sensor. Okay, you need to check. You need to check or change the air sensor or the occlusion sensor. As an example, the peristaltic pump is not working. Then you need to check the peristaltic voltages. If correct voltage is going to the peristaltic pump, even after correct voltage going to the peristaltic pump, the motor is not working, then you need to check the peristaltic motor. The possibility the pump is not working, first thing you need to check occlusion sensor, okay, then air sensor, then peristaltic pump, okay. These are the possibilities. Then syringe pump, typical syringe pump, first one is a pump and second one is a diagram of a pump. What are the parts? You have on off switch, display, these are the plunger detection sensor, clamp. These are the parts of the machine. If you place a syringe, machine is giving no syringe, then syringe sensor may be a problem. That is a syringe clamp. The clamp which is holding the syringe is the thing will give the feedback. How much ml of syringe you are placing. That is, example, if you place a 50 ml, machine has to show 50 ml syringe has been placed. If not, there may be problem with a syringe size detection sensor. If plunger is not pushing, then there may be a problem with a motor. First thing possibility is syringe sensor problem or plunger problem or this motor problem. These are the thing you need to check. First thing you need to note down the error messages. The machine is showing error 02, that is a sensor error, syringe size detection sensor error. Error 03, then the machine, there may be a problem with the motor. The motor is not rotating. First thing you need to go through the manual, okay, service manual. There are different errors available in the machine, okay, available in the manual. Depend upon the error, you need to solve the syringe pump. In this machine, as soon as you place a syringe in the machine has to acknowledge the syringe. Say example, if you place a 50 ml of syringe, the machine has to acknowledge and it will show it as a 50 ml syringe. If not acknowledging, then there may be a problem with a syringe size detection sensor. After placing syringe, and if you press a start button, syringe is not moving, then there may be a problem with a syringe stepper motor or plunger movement problem, okay. With the help of a manual, you can solve the problem, okay. And this is anesthesia machine. This is a parts of the machine. First thing is a ventilator control display, and with the help of a selector wheel, we can select the modes. And this is a medical gas flow, and this side is a vaporizer. Vaporizer is the thing which will give the sedation. In this vaporizer, you add a sedation liquid, that is a anesthetic agent. From the vaporizer only, this anesthetic gas goes to the circuit, okay. This is a closed loop ventilation, okay. There is a two port, inspiratory port and expiratory port. Through the inspiratory port, the inspirated gas will go to the patient, and patient expelled gas come out from the patient is observed in a circle observer or a soda lime. This soda lime will observe the expelled air from the patient, and it will convert the CO2 to the oxygen, okay. From the expelled air, this soda lime will absorb the CO2 and it will give the oxygen to the circuit, okay. This is a closed loop path. Say example that you get a call, that is machine is not showing a flow value. First thing you need to check the flow sensor. Machine is not showing a oxygen percentage. The thing is, you need to check the oxygen sensor. You need to do flow calibration and oxygen calibration. After you calibrating, machine has to show a correct value. If not, you need to change the flow sensor for flow value. If the machine is not showing correct oxygen percentage value, then you need to calibrate the oxygen sensor. If not, if after calibrating also the machine is not showing a correct